There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize the enemy is not outside, it's within. It's not the world that needs to be fixed first. It's the self, and if you cannot master your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money, you'll always live beneath your potential, no matter how smart you are or how hard you work. Let that sink in, because this is not a motivational speech. This is a mirror. We live in a time where people know how to build businesses, but can't manage their emotions. They can lead teams, but can't lead themselves. They chase success on the outside, while chaos brews quietly inside, but it always leaks out. In your words, in your attitude, in your spending, in your reactions. That's why true power, the kind that lasts, starts with control. Control of your mouth. Because one sentence can destroy trust, end opportunities, and poison relationships. Control of your mind. Because your thoughts become your life, and most people are trapped in loops they never even question. Control of your mood. Because what you feel leaks into how you treat others, how you show up, and how people experience you. Control of your money. Because if you don't rule your wallet will rule your peace. Self-mastery is not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's waking up and refusing to be a slave to impulse. It's noticing when your words are about to hurt and pulling them back. It's recognizing a negative thought before it turns into a storm. It's staying calm when your feelings want to erupt. It's choosing discipline over drama. And that, my friend, is rare. Most people never take the first step. They wait for a moment that never comes. They think they'll magically gain control once they're older, richer, or more respected. But life doesn't reward intentions, it rewards action. The first step to mastering anything is awareness. You cannot change what you do not see. That's why in this chapter we will go deeper into what real awareness means and how to build it. It begins with slowing down. Because if your life is too loud, too rushed, too distracted, you'll miss the signals. You'll miss the rising anger before it spills out. You'll miss the bad habit before it anchors itself in your brain. You'll miss the overspending before your account hits zero. Awareness is about being present enough to catch the moment before the damage is done. That requires honesty. Brutal honesty. You need to know what triggers your mouth to speak without thinking. What thoughts spiral you into a dark mood? What emotions lead you to make foolish purchases? What wounds from your past still whisper lies into your present? Without awareness, you will justify everything. You'll say, I'm just like this. I was having a bad day. That's just how I cope. But those excuses are the chains. You weren't born with a short temper. You developed it. You weren't born anxious. Your mind rehearsed it until it became your script. You weren't born financially irresponsible. You learned those behaviors, and that means you can unlearn them. But first, you must want to. You must want peace more than you want validation. You must want freedom more than you want comfort. You must want growth more than you want excuses. Because controlling yourself is hard. Anyone can blame. Anyone can react. Anyone can explode. It takes real maturity to pause, to observe, and to choose differently, and most will never do it, but you will. That's why you're here, and that's why you need to keep listening, because this journey will take you deep into your own soul. It will confront your ego. It will challenge your habits, and it will force you to choose between the version of you that survives and the version of you that leads. The first step to self-mastery is not some fancy technique. It's not waking up at 5 a.m. or journaling or meditating, though all those things help. The real first step is deciding that you're tired of being ruled by what's undisciplined inside you. It's declaring war on the lazy version of you. It's no longer entertaining the voice that says it's fine to quit. It's taking ownership of your life, word by word, thought by thought, reaction by reaction, decision by decision. Because once you take that first step, everything begins to change. People feel it in the way you speak. You no longer overshare. You no longer say things you regret. You no longer need to fill silence with noise. Your mouth becomes a weapon for truth, not harm. Your thoughts become clear. You question your mental loops. You stop believing every story your mind tells you. You gain mental space, mental peace. Your emotions stabilize. You no longer ride every wave. You learn to observe the wave and let it pass. You don't fake positivity. You build emotional strength. And your money, it stops being a source of stress and becomes a tool. You stop spending to numb yourself. You stop attaching your worth to material things. You begin to save, build, invest, because you're no longer trying to impress anyone. The first step to mastering your life is mastering you. And the most powerful way to do that is to begin now. So take a breath. Let this moment mark the start of your real growth. No more delaying, no more blaming, no more pretending. This chapter was just the beginning. And if this beginning stirred something in you, then don't stop here, because in the next chapter, we will go straight into the most dangerous part of your being, your mouth. The words you say, the damage they do, and how to reclaim your voice. But for now, if this message woke you up, subscribe or follow wherever you're listening. This journey is just getting started, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Chapter 2. Control your mouth before it controls your destiny. There's a reason the tongue is called the sharpest weapon in the human body. It doesn't cut flesh, but it wounds deeper. A single sentence said in the wrong moment can destroy trust that took years to build. A careless word can turn peace into war. And once spoken, words cannot be unsaid. Your mouth is either your greatest tool or your worst enemy. And the sad truth is, most people never learn to control it. They speak to be heard, not to be understood. They speak from emotion, not intention. They speak to win, not to connect. But the power of your mouth doesn't lie in how much you say. It lies in what you say and why you say it. If your words are reactive, you become predictable. If your words are destructive, you become feared. If your words are impulsive, you become forgettable. But if your words are wise, you become unforgettable. You don't need a loud voice to be powerful. You need a disciplined voice. Because the real ones, the people who carry impact, who shift rooms, who lead without shouting, they speak when it's needed, and they speak with weight. You must understand, your words reveal your character. Your words show your mind. Your words reflect your emotional state, and your words attract or repel the kind of life you live. Want better relationships? Watch your words. Want better opportunities? Speak with clarity. Want deeper peace? Learn to say less. Silence is not weakness. It's strength in disguise. A person who can hold their tongue when provoked has mastered something most people never will, because the world trains you to react, to comment, to clap back, to argue. But real growth, it trains you to pause, to process, to preserve your energy. Every time you hold back an unnecessary comment, you win. Every time you choose not to gossip, not to belittle, not to vent poison, you evolve. Because your words are seeds, they don't just land on ears, they grow inside hearts. And some of those seeds turn into regret, resentment, or respect, depending on what you planted. So ask yourself, what are you planting with your words? Your mouth is not just for talking. It's for building. Building connection. Building truth. Building peace. And yes, sometimes it's for correcting, confronting, even rebuking, but always from a place of discipline, not destruction. The problem is, most people never examine their patterns. They grow up in households where yelling was normal, so they yell. They grow up hearing sarcasm as humor, so they learn to mock. They grow up hearing silence in conflict, so they stonewall. But now they're adults, carrying old patterns into new relationships, new jobs, new opportunities, and they keep wondering why things break. It's not the situation, it's the mouth. Your destiny can be delayed by your own tongue. Think of the doors your words could open or slam shut. Think of the people who needed kindness but got your frustration. Think of the bridges you burned because your emotions led your speech. Think of the trust you lost because you couldn't pause. And now, think of how different it could be if you mastered it. You'd become the person who listens more and speaks with clarity. You'd be trusted, respected, sought after, not because you speak often, but because when you do, it matters. You'd be someone whose silence brings peace and whose speech brings light. But that version of you starts with one thing: intention. You must be intentional with your words. Before you speak, ask, is this true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Is it aligned with who I want to be? That small pause will save you years of regret. And here's the truth: silence is uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to talking through every emotion. But the more you embrace it, the more power you gain. You learn to observe before responding. You learn to speak life when others spread poison. You learn to keep your dignity when others lose theirs. You don't always have to explain yourself. You don't have to respond to every insult. You don't have to chase every misunderstanding. Sometimes silence is the most eloquent sentence you can speak. This is not about being passive. It's about being precise. It's about not wasting your breath on what doesn't grow you. It's about turning your mouth into a tool for alignment with your purpose, your values, your future. Because if you can control your mouth, you will earn trust. You will build peace. You will attract what you respect. You will become someone whose words hold gravity. But lose control, and you'll lose everything else with it. Chapter 3. Reclaiming your mind before it becomes your master. Your mind is your most sacred battlefield. It's not your job, not your house, not your relationship. The real fight is in your head, every single day. That quiet place no one sees. That place where your doubts whisper louder than dreams, where fear creeps in before faith has a chance, where past voices replay like broken records, and if you don't learn to master it, it will master you. The mind is a beautiful liar. It can convince you you're not good enough, even when the world is clapping. It can keep you stuck in cycles that don't serve you, telling you this is who you are when deep inside you know you're made for more. The worst part: most people never question it. They treat every thought like a fact. But not you. Not anymore. Today, we break the illusion. Your thoughts are not always truth. They are suggestions. They are echoes. They are patterns built from years of repetition. And until you pause and observe them, you will become a puppet, controlled not by external forces, but by internal stories you never wrote, yet keep repeating. You were not born anxious. You were not born insecure. You were not born defeated. Your mind learned those responses through pain, neglect, failure, comparison, and repetition. But just like it learned them, it can unlearn them. That's the power of neuroplasticity. That's the power of intention. That's the power of reclaiming your mind. The first key: awareness. Most people live inside their thoughts without ever stepping outside to observe them. They don't realize there's a gap between stimulus and response, a sacred space where choice lives. When you train yourself to notice a thought before it becomes your identity, you take your power back. A thought enters: I'm not good enough. Pause. Ask yourself, where did that come from? A failure in the past? A voice from childhood? A bad relationship? Is it true, or is it just familiar? That's the shift. You start filtering your thoughts. You stop letting them run wild. You choose which ones to keep and which ones to release. And you do it again and again until your mind becomes a garden, not a prison. You must also learn to talk to yourself like someone you love, because your mind responds to your language. If your self-talk is filled with shame, your actions will reflect it. If you constantly tell yourself I can't, your behavior will obey. But when you shift to language that's grounded in truth, courage and possibility, everything changes. You begin to rewire your mind. You begin to notice opportunities instead of danger. You begin to believe progress is possible. You begin to act from faith, not fear. And that doesn't mean you'll never feel anxious again, or that self-doubt will disappear forever. No, it means you'll develop the strength to recognize it without obeying it. You'll become the master then, not the slave. Another key, input. Your mind becomes what it consumes. If all you feed it is negativity, drama, gossip, noise, don't be surprised when your thoughts echo that chaos. But when you start feeding it peace, truth, wisdom, stillness, purpose, you build a new mental home, one where you can actually think, one where your future can breathe. Silence becomes your friend. Journaling becomes your tool. Stillness becomes your superpower, because in the quiet, you can hear your real thoughts. Not the ones the world gave you, but the ones your soul is trying to whisper. Reclaiming your mind also means forgiving yourself. You are not your past decisions. You are not your worst mistake. You are not the fear that held you back. You are a becoming. And every day you wake up, you have a chance to think differently, a chance to choose again, a chance to write a new script in your head. And don't forget, your environment matters too. If you're surrounded by people who constantly dump their negativity on you, your mind becomes a landfill. Protect your peace. Not everyone deserves access to your mental space. Build boundaries. Choose people who speak life. Choose conversations that elevate. The more you do this, the stronger you get. You stop chasing validation. You stop reacting to nonsense. You stop needing approval to feel complete. You become grounded, focused, free, because once your mind is yours again, you become unstoppable. Your goals become clearer. Your energy becomes focused. Your decisions become wiser. And the world will notice. People will wonder how you stay calm under pressure, how you keep moving forward, how you don't crumble under criticism. They'll think it's strength, but you'll know the truth. It's control. Control of your mind. Chapter 4, Mastering Your Mood in a Chaotic World. Your mood is the silent filter that colors everything you see, everything you hear, and everything you say. It's why the same situation can feel like a disaster one day and a minor inconvenience the next. It's why someone's harmless comment can trigger rage when you're already frustrated. It's why you sometimes feel like the world is against you, when in truth, it's just your inner weather that's storming. Your mood doesn't just affect you. It affects your relationships, your work, your self-worth, your energy, your presence, the way you walk into a room, the way people respond to you, the opportunities you attract or repel. All of it is shaped by the emotional state you're living in. But here's the truth most people ignore. You are not your mood. Your emotions are signals, not instructions. You don't have to act on every feeling. You don't have to trust every wave that hits you. And you definitely don't have to stay stuck in emotional storms that were never meant to define you. The problem is, most people never learned emotional regulation. They react, they explode, they shut down, they distract, they numb, and they wonder why nothing changes. But if you want to rise, if you want to build a life that isn't constantly shaken by circumstance, you must learn to master your mood. Not control in a robotic sense, but command. The kind of command that gives you power, not over others, but over yourself. That's the beginning of emotional maturity. It's waking up and realizing, I may feel angry right now, but I don't have to lash out. It's noticing, I'm feeling low, but I can still move through this moment with grace. It's knowing, this sadness is real, but it's not forever, because your mood is temporary. But the damage you can do while in a bad mood, that can last for years. The words you say in anger, the decisions you make in fear, the silence you hold in resentment, they all have a price. So you must create space between feeling and action. That space is sacred. In that space, you breathe, you center, you observe, you remind yourself, this feeling isn't the truth. It's just the weather. And like all weather, it passes. You have to stop letting temporary emotions create permanent damage. But mastering your mood doesn't mean faking it. It doesn't mean plastering a smile on pain. It doesn't mean avoiding sadness or pretending life is perfect. No, it means holding the emotion without letting it hold you. It means acknowledging, I'm anxious today, but still showing up for what matters. It means saying, I feel off right now, but not letting that turn into self-destruction. It means respecting your emotions without obeying every one of them. And sometimes it means resting. Because your mood is often a mirror of your physical state. Poor sleep, bad diet, no movement, toxic surroundings. These all bleed into how you feel. That's why mastering your mood is not just mental, it's physical. You need to care for your body if you want emotional strength. You need rhythms, routines, moments of stillness. You need to stop living in constant reaction. Mood mastery is built in the morning. The first hour of your day sets the tone. Do you start with chaos or calm, noise or intention, scrolling or silence? Because whatever you feed your mood when you wake up will grow throughout the day. You must also protect your peace. Don't argue with people who love conflict. Don't engage in battles that drain your spirit. Don't absorb the emotions of people who refuse to grow. You're not responsible for fixing everyone's mood, but you are responsible for mastering your own. And this isn't just about peace, it's about purpose. You can't think clearly when your mood is a mess. You can't lead when you're emotionally hijacked. You can't create when your heart is heavy from everyone else's chaos. So if you want to do great things, learn emotional self-discipline. Become the person who notices the storm and still walks calmly through it. Become the one who can smile without pretending and speak with truth, even when you're hurting. Become someone who chooses their response, not because they're suppressing their emotions, but because they've grown strong enough to hold them. And when people ask how you stay so steady, you won't say, I never feel anything. You'll say, I learned how to carry it without it carrying me. That's mastery. And it's not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. Some days you'll get it right, some days you'll slip, but every time you come back to awareness, to that space between trigger and action, you win. Because in that space, your future is being shaped. Chapter 5. Mastering money without losing yourself. Money is not just about numbers, it's about mindset. It's about beliefs planted deep in childhood, watered by experience, and shaped by fear, desire, pride, and survival. Some people chase it blindly. Some fear it quietly. Some use it to prove something. Others avoid it altogether, pretending not to care. But here's the truth. Your relationship with money reveals your relationship with power, control, identity, and trust. That's why before you ever master money in the external world, you must confront what's happening internally. Ask yourself, what stories did you grow up hearing about money? Was it always missing? Was it a source of conflict? Was it worshipped? Was it shamed? Did you learn that money is evil? That rich people are greedy? That poverty equals purity? That success makes you arrogant? These messages don't disappear. They live in your habits, in how you spend, in how you save, in how you give, in how you avoid. But money at its core is neutral. It's not moral, it's not spiritual. It's not good or bad. It's a mirror, a magnifier, a tool. It makes you more of what you already are. If you're generous, money expands that. If you're reckless, it exposes that. If you're insecure, it feeds the hunger. If you're content, it becomes a servant, not a master. So mastering money starts with mastering who you are without it. Because if your self-worth is tied to your net worth, you'll always be bankrupt inside, even when your bank account looks full. Too many people use money as a mask, to impress, to compete, to hide. They buy things to feel important. They chase status over stability. They upgrade their lifestyle instead of upgrading their mindset. But eventually, that mask cracks. And when it does, you're left with the truth. You never needed more stuff. You needed more self-respect. You didn't need to look rich. You needed to feel worthy. So how do you master money? Start with discipline. Discipline is freedom. It means telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. It means building a budget not out of lack, but out of leadership. It means having boundaries with yourself. Not spending to impress people you don't even like. Not avoiding your bank account out of fear. Not living paycheck to paycheck when you could plan, even with a little. Next, value creation. Money flows to those who solve problems. Money chases excellence. If you want more of it, serve better. Think sharper, deliver deeper. Don't just ask, how can I make money? Ask, how can I be valuable? When you become a person of value, money becomes a byproduct, not a pursuit. Then there's contentment. One of the most dangerous cycles is this. You make more, you spend more, you still feel empty. You upgrade your phone, your car, your clothes, yet feel no peace. Because peace was never in the purchase. Contentment is knowing what's enough. It's being grateful for what you have while working for more. It's not laziness, it's clarity. It's realizing that wealth isn't just about accumulation, it's about alignment. And finally, generosity. Giving breaks greed. It resets your heart. It reminds you that money is not the end, it's a means. Give not just when you're rich. Give when it hurts. Give when it stretches you. Because how you handle money in small amounts reveals what you'll do when it multiplies. You want to master money? Then don't chase it with desperation. Attract it with wisdom. Don't worship it. Don't fear it. Respect it. Use it. Manage it like a leader. Because money is a servant, but a terrible master. And the more power you give it over your emotions, the more it will control your life. But once you master it with calm, clarity, and conviction, you become dangerous. Not because of how much you have, but because it no longer owns you. You walk into rooms with quiet confidence. You make decisions without panic. You grow without losing your soul. You move in purpose, not pressure. And from there you rise. You've now learned to control your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money. But the journey isn't over. There's something even deeper. Something that fuels all four. Something that determines whether you'll sustain this or fall back into old habits. It's called consistency. Chapter 6. The discipline of daily choices. It's not the grand gestures that build your future. It's the ordinary decisions you repeat every single day. What time you wake up, what you feed your mind, what you say when you're tempted to gossip, how you respond to stress, whether you finish what you started or quit halfway through. There's a quiet power in the choices you make when no one is watching. Your life is a reflection of what you do consistently, not what you do occasionally, because discipline is the invisible architect behind every meaningful result. You don't need more motivation, you need discipline. The reason most people stay stuck isn't because they're not talented. It's what takes a dream and turns it into a direction. It's what turns a direction into action, and action into identity. It's because they don't honor the process. They start with fire, but the flame dies out. They want results in weeks for work that requires years. They abandon the budget when the numbers feel tight. They quit the gym when they don't see a six-pack in 30 days. They give up on peace because discipline feels boring. Growth is hidden in routine. Excellence is repetitive. But greatness is boring. The most successful people you admire, they're not chasing highs. They're showing up, even when it's hard, even when it's silent, even when no one claps. Because every single day, life gives you two roads: comfort or growth. They've trained themselves to choose long-term results over short-term emotions, noise or focus, excuse or effort. And whichever one you choose, again and again, becomes who you are. It's waking up and doing what you said you would do, even if your feelings changed. It's about being predictable in your commitment. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's keeping promises to yourself. It's building inner trust. Because if you don't believe yourself when you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," you'll never grow. Every kept promise strengthens it. When you say, "I'll wake up early," and you do, you become the kind of person who follows through. Every broken promise to yourself erodes your identity. When you say, "I won't lash out today," and you stay calm, you're rewiring your brain to be a leader. Discipline isn't about forcing. When you say, "I'm building something," and you act like it every single day, you are. It's about aligning. It's building systems, not relying on emotion. It's about knowing your why so clearly that you no longer negotiate with laziness. They'll tell you, "Just this once," because your emotions will lie. They'll whisper, "Skip today," but your system, the structure you've built, carries you through. They'll convince you, "You can't do this." You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. Build a workspace that fuels clarity. So create a morning routine that serves your purpose. Set boundaries that protect your time. Surround yourself with voices that remind you of your calling. Remove distractions that drain your energy. Discipline isn't about grinding forever. Make daily choices automatic so you're not always using willpower. It's about designing a life where the right thing becomes the easy thing. The power isn't in perfection. It's in the bounce back. And when you fall, which you will, get back up quickly. You ate junk? Fine. Eat clean next meal. You lost your cool? Apologize. Reset. Move forward. You skipped your goal today, start again tomorrow. Don't let one slip become a spiral. Don't wait for Monday. Start again the moment you remember who you are. Remembering your identity, because that's what discipline really is. Remembering your mission, and letting your daily choices reflect it. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You need to win today, and even when you lose, you don't give up the fight. Then win the next. Then win tomorrow, until discipline becomes your default. Again and again, you return. They are the most consistent. The ones who win in life are not the smartest, richest, or luckiest. You've mastered your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money. Now you're mastering your consistency. Because no matter how disciplined you are, if you're surrounded by chaos, your growth will suffer. But there's one more thing that ties it all together: your surroundings. Chapter 7. Build an environment that supports your strength. You could be the most disciplined person in the world, but if you're surrounded by noise, negativity, distractions, and drama, your growth will suffer. You don't just rise by willpower, you rise by design. And that starts with your environment. Environment isn't just the room you're sitting in. It's the voices in your ears. It's the energy in your home. It's the chaos or calm in your calendar. It's the type of people you allow access to your space. It's the daily atmosphere that either pulls you forward or pulls you under. If you're always tired, always distracted, always overwhelmed, look around before you look within. Sometimes your struggle is not because you're weak. It's because you're trying to grow in a toxic space. You can't plant seeds in concrete and expect a harvest. That's why true growth starts with editing your environment. Cut the noise. Clear the clutter. Silence the toxic voices. Choose peace over popularity. The wrong environment will kill your momentum before it even starts. Ever notice how your energy shifts around certain people? Some make you feel heavy. Some drain you. Some trigger your worst habits. And some, just by being around them, you remember who you are. That's not random. That's real. Energy is contagious. Confidence is contagious. Laziness is contagious. And so is chaos. That's why you need to be ruthless about your space. Start with the physical. Is your workspace clean or chaotic? Do you wake up to clarity or clutter? Does your phone help you build or break you down? Rebuild your space to support your mind. Create a desk that makes you want to show up. Delete apps that distract you. Turn off notifications that steal your focus. Make rest visible. Sleep early. Keep your room dark, cool, calm. Train your environment to serve your energy, not sabotage it. Next, the social. Your circle matters more than you think. If you're around people who gossip, complain, play small, you'll do the same. Not because you want to, but because it becomes normal. But when you're surrounded by purpose-driven people, you start thinking bigger, you speak better, you move sharper. And it's not always about finding high-level people. It's about being around people who are serious about their lives. People who respect your time. People who are hungry. People who make room for growth. Sometimes that means walking away from the familiar, from the old crowd, from the ones who knew the old you, but can't handle the new you. It's not personal. It's necessary. You can't keep apologizing for evolving. You weren't meant to stay the same. Your environment should make you feel safe, strong, and seen, not small. And then there's the internal environment, your mind. You can change your room, your phone, your friends, but if your thoughts are still toxic, growth will be slow. So protect your internal climate. Be careful what you let live in your head. Every thought is a seed. Every belief you allow to root in your mind will show up in your actions. Feed your mind with clarity. Replace self-doubt with self-trust. Replace shame with responsibility. Replace fear with focus. Every day, ask, what kind of atmosphere am I creating inside me? Because even the best routines won't work in a storm of self-sabotage. Make your thoughts a place where peace lives, where purpose breathes, where your next level isn't a fantasy, it's a plan. When you combine a clear physical space, a powerful social circle, and a focused mind, growth becomes natural. It's no longer a fight. It becomes a flow. You wake up aligned. You make better choices. You recover faster. You lose less energy. You move with intention. You've now built an environment that supports your strength. And from here, you'll go even deeper, not into the external, but into the soul. Because the next level of control is not about your mouth, mind, mood, or money. It's about your ability to lead yourself when life gets messy. Chapter 8. Stay calm in the middle of the storm. Chaos doesn't knock before it enters. It shows up unannounced through heartbreak, failure, betrayal, or unexpected loss. And in those moments, it's not your talent, your education, or your bank balance that saves you. It's your ability to stay calm when everything around you screams panic. Staying calm isn't weakness. It's leadership. It's control. It's choosing stillness in a storm that wants to break you. Life will test your emotions. It will press your buttons. It will corner you with problems you never saw coming. But how you respond in the fire determines what survives. Do you lash out? Shut down? Blame everyone? Or do you pause, breathe, and remember who you are? Calm is power, and it's not a personality trait. It's a skill. You can build it. You can train it. And once you master it, chaos loses its control over you. When the world around you is loud, silence becomes your superpower. Because panic speeds you up, but wisdom slows you down. When you move too fast, you miss red flags. You say things you regret. You make decisions out of fear, not faith. You let temporary emotions create permanent consequences. But when you stay calm, you protect your future. You don't yell back just because someone's angry. You don't chase people just because they're walking away. You don't sabotage yourself just because the moment feels unfair. Instead, you breathe. You observe. You respond with clarity. People will test you. Not always because they mean harm, but because they don't know how to handle their own storms. You have to decide, will I mirror their chaos, or will I rise above it? When someone disrespects you, it's easy to react, but real strength is in restraint. It's in knowing you don't need to prove your power, you just walk in it. You've already done the work. You've tamed your mouth. You've focused your mind. You've stabilized your mood. You've managed your money. You've protected your environment. Now the test is, can you hold the line when everything is shaking? Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the right thing at the right time, with the right energy. You don't need to fight every battle. Not every insult needs a comeback. Not every fire needs your oxygen. Calm people see more. They feel deeper. They carry presence. You've probably felt it. You walk into a room and someone just radiates peace. They're not loud. They don't rush. But you can sense they're grounded. That's what you're building. That's the energy that creates leaders. People follow calm, not chaos. Because when storms come, and they will, people don't run to the loudest voice. They run to the calmest one. And here's the secret. The storm is temporary, but how you handle it becomes part of your legacy. Will people remember your panic or your poise? This doesn't mean you don't feel. You're human. You'll hurt. You'll cry. You'll stumble. But even in that, choose clarity. Don't let pain turn into poison. Don't let the moment destroy the mission. When you can be still inside, you become unshakable on the outside. That's what real mastery looks like. You're not chasing control. You are the control. You are the thermostat, not the thermometer. You set the temperature, you don't reflect it. And that changes everything. Now you're ready for the next layer. Because calm doesn't just keep you steady, it opens the door to higher thinking. The kind of thinking that moves nations, shifts families, builds wealth, and breaks generational cycles. You're about to learn how to think like a builder, not just for today, but for your future. Chapter 9. Energy is your real currency. Everyone talks about time as your most valuable resource, and yes, time matters. But the truth is, energy is what really shapes your days. Because you can have all the time in the world, but if you're drained, distracted, discouraged, nothing meaningful happens. Energy is what fuels action. It's what fuels focus. It's what fuels your ability to stay consistent over time. And in this 6-month journey, protecting and directing your energy is non-negotiable. Think about it. How many times have you had the time, but not the energy? You sat there, schedule wide open, but your mind was foggy, your spirit low, your body tired, and so the work didn't get done. Not because you were lazy, but because your energy had been leaking all day, all week, all year. The question isn't just, how are you spending your time? It's, where is your energy going? And if you're serious about changing your life in 6 months, you need to audit that deeply. Energy leaks. Start with your leaks. The people who drain you, the habits that weaken you, the environments that stress you, the thoughts that spiral you, every notification you check, every pointless conversation you engage in, every scroll session that turns into a comparison trap. It all chips away at your internal battery. You might not feel it at first, but by midday, you wonder why you're unmotivated, why you're behind, why the tasks feel heavier than they should. That's because you're carrying 1,000 micro-distractions in your nervous system. And here's the dangerous part. This kind of exhaustion becomes normal. You get used to it. You think it's just part of life. But it's not life. It's noise. And noise can be eliminated. You just need to reclaim control. Energy boundaries. This means setting boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. No more emotional multitasking. No more allowing everyone access to your mental space. No more just checking your phone every 5 minutes. No more reacting to every ping, every post, every piece of drama that doesn't build your future. This isn't isolation. This is protection. You're building something. You're in a transformation season, and that means your energy is sacred. Imagine your energy like money. Would you give away your paycheck to every random stranger who asked for it? Would you throw cash into the wind every hour of the day? Of course not. But that's exactly what happens when you allow your energy to scatter without intention. You owe yourself better. Energy investment. Now let's talk about where your energy should go. Into habits that compound. Into relationships that inspire. Into rest that replenishes. Into food that fuels. Into movement that strengthens. Into environments that elevate. And most importantly, into your vision. Because when your energy is aligned with your purpose, you become unstoppable. You move faster. You think clearer. You recover quicker. You don't burn out because your fuel is coming from a clean source. You're not dragging your body through tasks. You're being pulled by your mission. And that feeling, that shift, that's where everything begins to change. Because now you're no longer a victim of low energy. You're no longer waiting to feel ready. You've built a system that keeps you ready. 6 months of protected energy can take you further than 6 years of scattered effort. But it requires honesty. You have to stop lying to yourself about how much energy you're really working with. You have to stop pretending that a mind full of clutter can produce clear results. You have to stop running on fumes and calling it discipline. This isn't about hustling harder. This is about healing your habits. Because a well-managed life doesn't feel frantic. It feels light. It feels sharp. It feels aligned. And when you start living from that place, you no longer have to force momentum. It becomes natural. You wake up ready. You move with precision. You go to sleep fulfilled, not because the day was perfect, but because your energy was honored. So from this moment forward, let this be your standard. I protect my energy like my future depends on it, because it does. And every day that I do, I take one step closer to a life that not only looks different, but feels different. Chapter 10. Move with intention, not emotion. Emotion is real, but emotion is not always right. And when you let it run your life, it will drive you straight off course. You can feel deeply and still move wisely. You can honor your emotions without making them your steering wheel, because here's the truth. Most damage is done, not by how we feel, but by how we react to those feelings. You feel angry, so you shout. You feel hurt, so you ghost. You feel triggered, so you make a permanent decision in a temporary storm. But that's how the old version of you moved. That's the reactive version, the one who let mood dictate motion. The one who burned bridges just to feel a moment of power. The one who let silence become punishment. The one who thought loudness was strength and silence was weakness. But you're no longer that version. You've come too far. You've trained too long. You've rebuilt too much to throw it all away for a 5-second emotional reaction. You're now operating on intention. That means you move with clarity, not chaos. You move based on your goals, not your feelings. You move with purpose, not to prove something. You know that how you respond today shapes the doors that open tomorrow. That's how leaders move. They pause before they speak. They breathe before they act. They ask, will this serve my vision or sabotage it? Intention says, I feel this, but I don't have to act on it right now. Emotion says, I feel this, so I must do something now. You choose the first. You choose power over panic. And when you move with intention, your energy becomes focused. You stop explaining yourself to everyone. You stop justifying every boundary. You stop chasing validation through overreaction. Instead, you move with peace. You make decisions when your mind is calm, not when your heart is loud. And let's be real. Sometimes you'll feel like breaking your silence. Sometimes you'll want to snap back, clap back, or shut someone down. But in those moments, remember your mission. Because a moment of drama is never worth destroying the discipline you've built. You're not here to entertain chaos. You're here to embody calm. You're not here to defend yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You're here to stay aligned with your next level. That requires intention, and intention is not soft. It's the ultimate strength. It means you've thought things through. It means you've seen the bigger picture. It means you value peace more than proving yourself. And here's something most people don't understand. Peace is not passive. Peace is a decision. A daily, deliberate decision to stay in control when everything around you wants you to lose it. When you move with intention, you become hard to manipulate, hard to trigger, hard to distract. Because you're no longer acting on how you feel. You're acting on what you believe. That makes you unstoppable. When your actions are no longer tied to your emotions, your enemies lose their power. They can't bait you. They can't drain you. They can't derail you. Because you're not responding to them. You're responding to your calling. That's the difference between people who rise and people who repeat. The repeaters keep reacting. The risers keep recalibrating. You're a riser now. You move differently. You speak with purpose. You walk with vision. You're not trying to win every argument. You're building a life that no argument can touch. So stay grounded, stay centered, and remember, your intention is your compass. Let your values lead your actions. Let your vision shape your voice. Let your discipline guide your direction. And when the storm comes, and it will, you won't be shaken. You'll be steady, focused, intentional, because you've learned to master yourself. And now it's time to take that mastery deeper. Chapter 11. Discipline is the language of freedom. Most people think freedom means doing whatever they want whenever they want. But that's not freedom. That's chaos with a mask on. Real freedom is not found in doing everything. It's found in doing the right things consistently. And the only way to do the right things consistently is discipline. Discipline is the quiet power that rewrites your future. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about protecting your peace. It's about making a promise to your future self and keeping it even when no one's watching. Every time you show up when it's hard, you earn a piece of freedom. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you build freedom. Every time you silence the urge to quit, to react, to lash out, you build freedom. You can't have both comfort and progress. One has to die so the other can live. And that's what discipline teaches you. It kills the version of you that keeps holding you back. People think discipline is limiting, but ask anyone who's mastered their craft, their mind, their money, their emotions. They'll tell you, discipline didn't trap them. It freed them. It freed them from guilt. It freed them from regrets. It freed them from patterns that were secretly controlling them. Because here's the truth. Without discipline, you'll keep living the same year over and over and calling it growth. Discipline gives you the power to say no to what doesn't align. It gives you the clarity to wait when the world is rushing. It gives you the wisdom to speak with purpose and the strength to stay silent when silence is strength. It gives you control over what matters most, your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money. But no one is born disciplined. It's forged in fire. It's built in the struggle between who you are and who you're becoming. Discipline grows every time you keep your mouth shut when you want to explode. Every time you hold your tongue and your temper in the same moment. Every time you walk away from an argument that doesn't serve your evolution. Every time you hold the line financially when the world screams, buy more. Discipline is not sexy. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's quiet, unseen, unapplauded. But later, when the fruit starts to show, when your mind is calmer, when your pockets are deeper, when your relationships are healthier, people will ask how you did it. And you'll smile, because they never saw the early mornings. They never saw the urges you fought. They never saw the 100 decisions you made that no one clapped for. But you'll know that while others were reacting, you were refining. While others were drifting, you were anchoring. While others were playing, you were preparing. And now, you're free. You can walk into any room and not be swayed. You can hear the noise, but not be moved. You can feel the pressure, but not crack. Because you've built yourself brick by brick, with discipline as your mortar. And here's what makes discipline so powerful. It multiplies. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you lean on it, the more it holds you up. The more you protect it, the more it protects you. And when discipline becomes your default, freedom becomes your lifestyle. You're no longer a slave to feelings. You're no longer shackled to the mood of the moment. You're no longer dancing to the rhythm of the world's chaos. You're grounded, rooted, rising. So the next time it feels hard, remind yourself, This is not restriction. This is preparation. Every sacrifice today is buying you power tomorrow. Every no now is opening space for a bigger yes later. Every boundary, every decision, every step is building a version of you that few will recognize, but all will respect. This is how you walk like you're already free. Not because the world gave you permission, but because your discipline gave you power. And now you're ready to go deeper into how your inner environment shapes everything else. Chapter 12, Mastering Your Inner Environment. The real battle is always within. Before it shows up in your mouth, your mood, your money, it starts inside your mind. Your inner environment is your invisible home. And most people are living in a house of chaos, with windows wide open to doubt, doors unlocked to insecurity, and the walls echoing with past mistakes. But you are no longer most people. You're building something different now. You're building peace. You're building clarity. You're building inner strength that no external situation can shake. The truth is, you can't control everything outside of you, but you can absolutely control how you host it inside of you. That's what mastering your inner environment is all about. It's not about faking calm. It's about building real stillness in a noisy world. Because if you don't manage your internal world, your external world will keep managing you. You'll be pulled into other people's storms. You'll be drained by every criticism, every delay, every look. You'll feel out of control, not because the world is wild, but because your inner world has no governor. But once you decide to protect your inner space, everything changes. You stop entertaining every thought that comes knocking. You stop letting every mood set up camp in your mind. You stop renting out space to opinions that don't even pay you respect. You start filtering what you allow to live in you. Because not every feeling deserves your energy. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every memory deserves to be replayed. You become the gatekeeper of your own soul. You decide what enters. You decide what stays. You decide what gets no audience. That's real control. And it doesn't come easy. You'll have to get quiet. You'll have to sit with the noise before you can sort it. You'll have to face the mirror and choose what kind of home you want your mind to be. You can choose panic or peace. You can choose regret or reset. You can choose guilt or grace. The moment you take responsibility for your inner climate, you take power away from every external storm. No matter who says what, no matter what breaks down, no matter what doesn't go as planned, you're steady. Because your mind is not reacting, it's responding. Your heart is not racing, it's rooted. Your soul is not desperate, it's disciplined. And when you live like that, people feel it. They don't know what it is, but they know you're not like everyone else. You're not loud, but you're unshakable. You're not flashy, but you're powerful. You're not perfect, but you're grounded. That's what mastering your inner environment produces. Confidence without arrogance, clarity without chaos, power without noise. So let others chase every trend. Let others react to every headline. Let others spiral with every change. You're different now. You are calm in the storm. You are clarity in the confusion. You are order in the noise. Because you've learned to lead yourself before leading others. You've learned to clean your internal house before trying to decorate the external. And now it's time to apply that internal clarity to how you speak and show up in the world. Chapter 13, Speaking Life or Death. The power of your words. Words are not just sounds. They are seeds. And every time you speak, you're planting something into someone else, into your situation, or into yourself. You don't just speak about your life. You speak into your life. You shape it with your mouth, whether you realize it or not. There's a reason ancient wisdom says, life and death are in the power of the tongue. It's not a metaphor. It's truth. Your words can heal or harm. They can build or break. They can bless or curse. And here's the dangerous part. Once you release a word, you can't take it back. You can say sorry. You can ask forgiveness. But the word already did its work. It already traveled. It already took root. That's why controlling your mouth is one of the highest forms of self-mastery. It's not just about what you say, it's about when you say it, why you say it, and how you say it. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stay silent. Sometimes the wisest move is to pause. Sometimes the greatest act of maturity is to resist the urge to react. Because when your emotions are hot, your mouth is a weapon. It cuts fast, it cuts deep, and it leaves wounds that no apology can fully heal. But when your heart is healed, your mouth becomes a tool for transformation. You can speak peace over tension. You can speak hope over fear. You can speak calm into conflict. You can speak truth without attacking. That's power. Not the power to dominate, but the power to direct, to shift the energy in a room, to lift someone from despair, to call the best out of others and out of yourself. But this power demands awareness. It demands that you stop speaking from wounds and start speaking from wisdom. That you stop using your words to impress and start using them to impact. Your mouth doesn't have to say everything it thinks. Your tongue doesn't have to be driven by your triggers. Your voice doesn't have to be loud to be strong. Every sentence is either an investment or a withdrawal. Every word is either depositing into your future or draining your potential. So be selective. Be intentional. Be slow to speak. But when you speak, let it be clean, clear, and conscious. Speak to elevate, not just to express. Speak to bless, not just to vent. Speak to build a bridge, not just to win a battle. And most importantly, speak to yourself like someone worth listening to. Because the words you whisper in your own mind, the ones no one hears, those are the ones shaping your confidence. Those are the ones rewriting your story. Those are the ones either keeping you small or calling you higher. If you always speak doubt, don't be surprised when you walk in fear. If you always speak lack, don't be shocked when you attract scarcity. If you always speak negativity, your atmosphere will match your mouth. But if you start to speak power, if you start to speak healing, if you start to speak potential, then everything around you will begin to align with what's coming out of you. You don't have to scream. You don't have to curse. You don't have to dominate. You just have to be disciplined with your voice. Because your words are your legacy. They'll echo longer than your actions, and they'll shape more lives than you know. Now that you know the power your words hold, it's time to go even deeper. Chapter 14. Emotional self-control. Winning the war within. The strongest battles are the ones no one sees, not the ones fought with fists or words, but the ones raging inside your own chest. When your heart is pounding, your thoughts are spinning, and your emotions are screaming louder than reason. That's where the real war begins. Emotional self-control is not about pretending you don't feel. It's about learning how to feel without being ruled. It's the art of staying in charge when everything inside you wants to lose it. It's knowing that just because you feel something doesn't mean you need to act on it. Because feelings are real, but they're not always true. And if you keep letting your feelings lead your decisions, they'll take you places your peace can't survive. You know this already. You've felt the regret after speaking out of anger. You've seen the damage of reacting out of jealousy, fear, or pride. You've watched yourself spiral in situations that could have been avoided if you had just taken one deep breath, one pause, one moment to respond instead of react. But here's the beauty: emotional control can be learned. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows with use. It starts with awareness. You begin to recognize your triggers, not so you can avoid them forever, but so you can master your response. You stop blaming the world for how you feel. You stop handing your emotional thermostat to people who don't even know how to manage their own lives. You take ownership. You tell yourself, I am not my anger. I am not my anxiety. I am not my sadness. I am not the fear knocking at my door. You acknowledge it. You sit with it. But you don't hand it the keys. Because the moment you hand your emotions the wheel, they'll drive you off track. Self-control is choosing peace over pride. It's choosing stillness over shouting. It's choosing wisdom over impulse. It's walking away when ego says fight. It's breathing deep when stress says snap. It's saying not today to that old version of you that used to explode. Some people will call it weakness. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you've gotten soft. But you'll smile, because they have no idea how much strength it takes to not clap back, to not defend, to not fall for the trap. The truth is, anyone can react, but it takes strength to stay grounded, to stay composed, to stay aligned with who you're becoming, not who you used to be. And with every moment you practice it, every time you hold the line, you build something powerful. You build respect for yourself and from others. You build trust with your own heart. You build space for better decisions, deeper peace, and lasting growth. Emotional self-control is not about suppression. It's about direction. You don't push your feelings down. You guide them. You channel them. You turn your anger into boundaries. You turn your sadness into reflection. You turn your fear into preparation. You turn your joy into connection. This is how you win the war within. Not by becoming emotionless, but by becoming emotionally wise. So the next time the storm rises inside you, remember, you are not a slave to the waves. You are the captain of the ship, and the waters only have power if you give them permission. As you grow in this control, something amazing happens. Your finances, your focus, your relationships, they all begin to stabilize. Because a controlled heart creates a consistent life. Chapter 15, Total Alignment. When mouth, mind, mood, and money move together. This is where everything comes together. Your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money. 4 areas that, when aligned, create an unstoppable life. See? Most people live in fragments. They speak one thing, think another, feel something else, and act in a way that doesn't match any of it. That's why their lives feel confusing, chaotic, and contradictory. There's no alignment, no harmony, no flow. But when you bring all of these under discipline, when you lead them with purpose and not emotion, your life stops being reactive and starts becoming intentional. That's when momentum builds. That's when your days have direction. That's when your energy doesn't get scattered across regret and drama. It becomes focused, clean, powerful. Let's break this alignment down. When your mind is clear, you think straight. You don't get lost in comparison or paranoia. You know who you are, what matters, and what doesn't. You silence the noise and amplify the truth. When your mouth is disciplined, your words match your vision. You stop cursing your future with complaints. You stop reinforcing pain with old stories. You speak life. You speak strength. You speak purpose. When your mood is steady, your emotions no longer hijack your day. You're not snapping at people. You're not withdrawing into self-pity. You know how to regulate, how to breathe, how to carry peace with you instead of looking for it outside of you. And when your money is handled wisely, you no longer live in anxiety. You stop making emotional purchases. You stop depending on others for survival. You budget. You invest. You build wealth, slowly but surely. Now imagine all of that working together. Your thoughts feeding your words feeding your energy fueling your decisions, and your decisions producing results that reinforce your peace. That's alignment. That's when you're no longer fighting yourself, no longer sabotaging progress with impulsive moods, no longer stuck in the cycle of breakdown and reset. You become solid. You become steady. You become someone who doesn't just talk about discipline, but embodies it. People will start to notice. Not because you're louder, not because you're doing more, but because your life carries weight. Your presence brings clarity. Your actions match your values, and your results, financial, emotional, spiritual, speak for themselves. But don't be fooled. Alignment doesn't happen by accident. It takes awareness. It takes ownership. It takes the daily decision to not fall back into old patterns. You'll still get triggered. You'll still feel lazy some days. You'll still want to speak too soon or spend too fast. But now you know better. Now you've trained for this. Now you're not led by the moment, you lead the moment. You've learned to close the gap between who you used to be and who you're becoming. And the more you align, the easier it becomes to stay aligned. This is not perfection. This is maturity. This is leadership from the inside out. And when you live like that, life becomes lighter, not because it's easier, but because you're stronger. You don't need to escape anymore. You don't need validation anymore. You don't need constant resets anymore. You're in control. Your mouth speaks wisdom. Your mind is sharp. Your mood is stable. Your money is growing. And best of all, you're at peace. Not because everything outside is calm, but because everything inside is aligned. So take this journey and live it. Not just once, every day. Because real change is not about one breakthrough, it's about becoming someone who no longer needs to break down. You've come too far to go back. You've grown too much to play small. And you've seen too clearly to pretend you don't know the way. From now on, you walk aligned. You speak with purpose. You think with clarity. You feel with balance. You spend with wisdom. You are no longer scattered. You are centered. This is how you control your mouth, mind, mood, and money. This is how you build a life that reflects your highest self. This is how you win.